obviously the two of us have been writing resumes and other career documentation for quite some time now, over 10 years. And, through that time, we've always regularly done the deep dive consultations with those clients. So why do you, Amanda, believe that that's really essential when developing new career documentation?
Yeah, well, most resume or LinkedIn writing clients that I get have trouble talking or writing about themselves. I don't know if you get that a lot, but I get that a lot.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and they need someone on the outside to look at their experience, their achievements, their unique strengths and approach that they bring, and put it into words.
Yep.
And to notice and draw out the things that they've achieved that they haven't thought of, you know. And with most consultations, I'm not just listening to what they're saying, I'm listening to what they're not saying, I'm listening to, I'm observing aspects of their personality, the way they talk about their work, the way they
What
communicate.
excites them and perhaps where they're a bit modest and could
Right.
be probed a bit more and yeah.
And what's important to them, you know?
Yeah.
And
And
that
what's important
requires
to them.
it requires an in-depth consultation with another human being to
100%. I've
really pick up on all of that.
Yeah, 100%. I've actually just had a couple of clients last week, and both of them afters were like, and they're both making career change, yeah, like stepping up or into something different. And both of them said, I just feel so much more excited and confident about my career plans after going through this process with you because you draw out skills and offerings that they probably hadn't even considered as relevant, yeah.
Right. That happens all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And AI cannot probe people like a human to human can.
No, it definitely cannot do the same job.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I guess if we think about the key differences between using AI and a human career development consultant, so we've just sort of been touching on that. But something else, like I recently had a chat with a recruiter, and she was basically saying, and I've had a friend who also was doing recruiting, and both of them have said that it's so obvious when the content is AI generated because it doesn't have the human voice in it. And it's written in a way it's over professional. Actually, the recruiter described it as over professional. So a lot of puff and fluff, perhaps without the substance. Yeah, would you agree with that?
All those buzzwords and
Yeah,
without
yeah,
any
yeah,
substance. I think the only resume that could possibly get away with AI would be entry level, but even then it would be inferior to if you worked with a human.
yeah.
Um, but the more senior you become, the more comprehensive, in-depth, and nuanced the documentation needs to be.
Yep.
Um, you're taking a risk when you're using AI. What is the risk? You won't get the interview. You won't get the job. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, and recruiters can tell the difference with an AI generated, as you mentioned. I've spoken to recruiters as well, and they say the same thing.
Yep. There's
And
also there's also the concern that it conveys perhaps even laziness, a lack of effort, a lack
right,
of critical thinking. Yeah.
right,
It's what it
right,
could convey as well you've just used AI. You haven't put yourself and your effort into that document that you're submitting yet.
absolutely. And AI as it currently operates does not have the emotional intelligence to do the best job possible writing
Yep.
a resume, your selection criteria, etc. It is incapable of taking a fresh approach
Yep.
because it's essentially based on content that was written before. So it is a model of the model of the technology is that it's incapable of originality,
Hundred
essentially.
percent. 100%.
And
And
this is
that's
why,
what
this is why
you go.
yeah, I was just saying, this is why it can never replace the artist, for instance. But it also cannot replace the copywriter, the career consultant, the resume writer. It can try to. It may be slightly better than writing it yourself without AI assistance if you really have trouble with it.
Yep.
But it's not going to do a remarkable job. And will it make your content stand out? Probably not. Or in this case, your resume stand out from all the other candidates that.
And that's what people need to remember how competitive it is out there. So if there's a multitude of you using AI, well, you're all going to sound the same, yeah?
Right. And probably some of the other candidates going for the same job have employed the assistance of a human career consultant. And
Yes.
you have your substandard AI generated material. There is no comparison.
No, there's not. And I think people are just getting really excited about the technology at the moment. It's a bit of a buzz, yeah. Amazing and it is amazing what AI can do. And I think it has value as a support tool, but that's what it should be. It shouldn't take over what all humans do. It's a support tool. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and what would you say some of the direct client benefits are that you've observed in those human to human consultations? So I talked about how I've had a couple of clients recently feeling excited after we've done that human to human engagement. What else would you say are some of the direct client benefits you've seen?
The direct benefits of having a human career consultant and writer, would we bring our human-based
Yeah,
nuanced experience to the writing of your documents.
yep,
Personally, when I'm working with a client, I seek to identify what makes this person different from somebody else applying for the same role.
yep,
And that is essentially my focus. Now, AI could analytically try to do that, but would do it in its current form, would do it in a very non-nuanced way.
yep,
There is no human connection or understanding involved. And this is the thing that I try to explain is that the concept of a human eye comprehending and generating original ideas and content, a human to human consultation is irreplaceable.
yep.
But not only will the content be better, it is a more connected, satisfying experience for all involved.
100%. Yeah, that the energy you pick up from each other, yeah?
And it just look, I mean, if
The
you're just
humour, the humour, perhaps not making it well, making it more of a fun experience for them. Yeah, I do try and make it more of a fun experience rather than taking it too seriously. Yeah, like our
often,
career advancement should be a fun journey. Yeah,
yeah, often we we'll make each other laugh, or it's just like there's that natural flow of conversation
yep,
where it's
yep.
purpose driven, but at the same time, it's two people, you know.
You're building a relationship, really, aren't you? They're putting their trust in you, and you're building that relationship with them. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's needed when it's often when people are seeking your advice and services, it's a challenging period in their lives. They're looking for a new job. They might have been just made redundant. So, that human interaction is even more important at that in that sort of
giving them some inspiration. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And something else that I think when people do use AI, they need to be careful of is if you're I think it can make you a lazy thinker. Yeah, the critical thinking is lacking when you let AI produce it for you, and if you don't really then dive into that content and adapt it to your specific context and nuances, etc. Well, then if you go to an interview and say then they're deep diving into that content, and you haven't really done the pre-deep dive, well, are you going to be able to back up what AI's written about you? Yeah, you might not even fully understand what AI's saying about you.
Right, you're going to have to speak to that content
Yeah,
in the interview.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but just generally, it astounds me how people forget how important human connection is, not only in our like domestic interpersonal relationships, but in our working relationships.
100%.
We're not machines,
No,
and therefore we should not be employing machines to work with us.
yep,
And as humans, we're more than this, and we're actually condensing and reducing the possibilities for deeper connection by doing this. People talk about, oh, AI, the possibilities of AI and all this. What about the possibilities of human
of
connection?
humans, yeah, yeah. And
Like,
and
what's
yet
going to happen?
at the same time, I think the desire for human connection is getting stronger, yeah, and possibly because of the threat of AI. When you look at some of the statistics out there, consumers want to feel more than 80% of consumers, for instance, want to feel trust in a brand or business before they invest, yeah, and that has to be through some human connection that you build that trust, yeah. Um, yeah, so I think that all of that's escalating at the same time as AI is escalating. So it's perhaps humans, without even realizing, a lot of humans are sort of pushing against AI.
Yeah. And hopefully that will translate into something positive because
Yeah,
we have there are a lot of organizations and individuals pushing AI on us. Uh,
it's real. It really is pushed on you now.
we really need
Yeah,
to push back.